We may not be matching today, but we are matching our blankets. And that was not
intended as well.
But it's cute.
It's like you're Addie and I'm the darkness.
I do see myself as the MC.
I know you do.
Okay, guys, at the same time, let's say it together. What is Kelcie?
An actor.
If you don't know by this point. If you're not completely annoyed.
You're not listening enough.
I mean, I'm so subtle about it.
Oh, gentle.
We're so good. Call us the scholars.
Call us the scholars. Changing our podcast name.
Guys, what are we reading? The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. If you didn't know that, why are you here?
What is this?
What is this?
6?
6 part?
And you're here now?
We're glad to have you.
Glad to have you, but you might be a little spoiled.
Yeah. Go watch and listen to all the other parts.
Yeah.
Because
we're about to get to the real reveals now.
Because this feels like the last part.
Yeah, I feel like the next part feels like an epilogue.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay, well, you know what? Why don't you tell us what happened all before this one? All before this part.
The entire thing?
Yeah. Tell us everything.
Well, let's just start with part 6.
Okay.
Part 6, do not pretend that this is love. Well, actually, let me go back.
Do you want to read part 5?
Yeah.
Like what just happened before this?
So we just finished where Henry begins to write Addie's story. Then we see a little bit in the past of Addie and Luke's relationship over like 100 years. Sometimes he visits not on their anniversary. Usually rescues her from some sticky situation. And then, of course, she accuses him of being lonely and in want of company. Which, hit a sore spot for him. So, now in part 6, do not pretend that this is love. In part 6, in 1914, Luke admits to liking Addie's company and gives her a wooden ring so she can call on him. She finally uses it in 1944 when she gets captured during World War II. When he comes to visit in 1952, he admits to wanting her. They end up in an affair which lasts for years, and Addie falls for him. He says he loves her. In 1980, Addie asks Luke to release her from her deal. He said it requires her to surrender, and Addie lashes out at him and they fight. Luke doesn't appear again for 40 years. Wait. There's a little more. In the present, Addie learns that Henry's deal was only for a year. After that, he'll die. He has a month left. Addie calls on Luke to beg him to change his deal with Henry. Luke refuses until Addie promises herself to him in exchange for releasing Henry. Luke accepts.
Would you call it an affair, though? Why do they call it an affair?
Because it's like we're not in a relationship. We're kind of sleeping together.
Oh.
So we kind of fall for each other, it seems.
It's like a love affair.
It's a love affair.
Okay.
All right. Because I want to just get right in.
I would like to say, though, that you and I are doing great jobs at theorizing and getting them almost.
Yes.
Because remember at the very end of the last episode, if you watched, we did acknowledge the fact that part 6 was called Do Not Pretend That This Is Love.
Yeah.
And we were talking about who do we think
is saying it to who, you know.
And we did say that Addie, what if Addie's saying it to Luke? And we were right.
Literally word for word. I want to get into it.
Get into it.
Do you think Luke actually loves her? Look, I know that whole you're right, I've been pretending, haha. But was that him just covering up that he's embarrassed that,
I think it was.
You think? So you really think he loves her?
I think so. Do you not?
I don't think he knows what love is.
I agree.
Human love.
I agree.
So to him, he thinks it's love, but it's more I'm just so intrigued and want her, possession-wise, that I'm saying I love her because, this want is so strong. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Yeah.
But I think for his version of love, I think it's more that he's ever felt than to anyone else.
Yeah.
But didn't we also talk about how, we were saying, what if he, like
set up the Henry?
Yeah, set up Henry. And also, what if he just wants her, like he won't give up her curse because he doesn't want to release her anymore because he wants her with him.
Yeah.
And like, yes. Not that she's asking for her curse to be taken.
Right, but she's asked before, like, oh, if you love me, release me from the curse.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, no.
No, because I want you.
Yeah.
We're too good. We're too fucking good.
And, okay, we went a little too far, but the ring...
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, it wasn't, like, actually surrendering her soul, but it was kind of, like, surrendering that she needs him, kind of call from him. So it wasn't as detrimental that we were thinking, like, put on the ring, lose your soul or whatever.
Right.
But it's still calling to him, a reminder of him, surrendering that you need him on, you know.
Yeah. And I'm really disappointed, though, that my theory that Henry had a heart defect or something, that it wasn't true.
Yeah.
Like, that he just has a year.
Yeah.
I was maybe I just liked my theory too much.
But, like, that would have been really good.
I thought that would have been more interesting. But
yeah. Because, like, you already have a short life. It may have been in the next 2-3 years, but we're just going to make it a year. You know, like, well, I already have a short life. I'm giving up a couple of years, you know? That would have been good.
Yeah. But that's okay. We can't win them all.
Okay, question, though.
Yeah.
Was this... Okay. When we saw Henry finally make his deal, well, the first time we saw, oh my gosh, Henry actually made a deal with Luke. He, you know, had the ring, cut his hand, and then it was raining. He saw him, Luke, and they went and sat down on stairs, and they were talking, like, but then later he was actually on the roof about to commission with Shine.
I was so confused by that.
So is it, like, I'm guessing that's what really happened. That was the big, like, you know, and this was the...
Like, softer version?
Yeah, like, I'm trying to forget that I wanted to kill myself. Because I think it was in his POV, obviously.
Yeah.
So maybe it was him not wanting to accept the fact that he was about to kill himself?
But I was confused by that, too. Because I was like, whoa. I thought we were on the steps.
Yeah, I thought we were walking down the street or something.
But it's like, why would... Like, because he's not telling Addie this.
Yeah. So I'm like,
is it just an internal...
You're like, I don't want to, I literally about to...
But it's still weird.
I know.
Because it's like, I don't know. It's like, I wish that it would have been maybe just not as specific in the first rendition of it.
To be like, oh, like, we're in this moment, and then now
like,
we
you see the
like,
big picture.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's just confusing.
Yeah, I was confused. Because, like, that's what really happened. But I didn't know at the time we weren't supposed to know that or, like, feel like, you know?
Unless... in the last 3 chapters of part 7, we're gonna learn something that has a significance, but I don't think so. Mm-mm. But it was just odd to me.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Just how to get out those, before we get deep dive into that.
Yeah.
So, let's start with a little art. Mm-hmm. I thought it was so sweet because obviously it's Toby's sheet music of Dream Girl, which he and Addie had written together. Mm-hmm. But I love this part. The musician had only added to the mythology surrounding the subject by claiming the song came to him over the course of several dreams. I would wake up with bars of music in my head, blah, blah, blah. I'd find music scribbled on notepads and receipts, but I had no memory of writing them. It was like sleepwalking, sleep-making. The whole thing was a dream.
And then Marsh denies being under the influence of any drugs at the time.
Like, another impression that she left.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting because it's like that's what launched his career to supposedly have this huge music that his one sheet of music would cost $15,000. So I think that it's like not only does Addie... find people with talent and, help inspire them. She helps mold them into, like,
that when she touches your life, like, that, you blossom.
Ooh, I like that.
Thank you.
So, I know we're getting a little ahead here, but do you think that Henry's going to blossom because she was in his life?
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe not in the way that all these other people did.
Right.
But I hope so.
I feel like do you think he's gonna tell her story?
God, I hope so.
You know?
Oh my God. When we get to the end, though,
Yeah.
I really want to delve into that because I have some ideas that I'm curious, but
Okay.
yeah. Are we just getting into chapter 1?
Yeah?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. My favorite part.
Oh.
Just reading.
Oh.
Chapter 1, 1914. Viens ce soir. We are back home in France.
Where?
Viens ce soir.
0 classes of French. Can you believe that?
I'm not part French.
No way. I swear that you were like 100%
I know.
French.
I know. The accent is...
Yeah, the pronunciation.
Pronunciation goes crazy.
Yeah, if you're saying it some other way, you're wrong. She knows.
Ce soir. Anyhow, it is pouring in Bouillon. Okay, so we're back home.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 1914, so it's been 200 years.
200, yeah.
It's the anniversary, July 29th, obviously.
So I just saw my note and I saw
What?
I forgot what happened.
What?
She comes,
Yeah.
she comes back. She's like, yeah, my parents are there.
To the graveyard.
The graveyard. Estelle. Her tree is cut down.
It's gone. And of course, that's what gets her to be sad, which, yes, but like, because she's kind of accepted, okay, all these people are dead, you know, it doesn't bug me as much as, like, you know, because it's been 200 years, but the tree being
This is what
gone.
Estelle wanted. This is where I wanted to be, what she wanted to be. This is my last connection to home.
Yes.
And it's gone.
And it's gone.
Now that she's sad, depressed, like, this is the last remnant of her past life.
Yeah.
Of her, what's rooted her this entire time. And who shows up? Luke.
Luke. It is the anniversary.
Right?
But I also want to say that I think it's really, again, so significant about Estelle because Estelle is still influencing her ideas and her choices because she talks about how, let me see, well, she's like talking about how much she misses the old woman and like blah, blah, blah. Like, again, like, okay, parents, but Estelle, let me go talk about Estelle, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And like, she just is so influenced by her.
Like, me and her, I'm living our life for us. Like,
yes.
I wanted to be you. This is me trying to be you and respect you.
Yeah, because it's raining really hard, and she's like, well, I only have this one dress. Like, should I go out there? And she thinks, okay, well, Estelle would.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go out in the rain barefoot. It doesn't matter, because that's what Estelle would do.
After 200 years.
That's her twin flame.
Literally.
Yep, and she finds the tree's not there. And I did pin.
Which pin?
I pinned this quote here that I really liked. Grief, deep as a well, opens inside her. What is the point in planting seeds? Why tend them? Why help them grow? Everything crumbles in the end. Everything dies.
And she is all that's left. A solitary ghost hosting a vigil for forgotten things.
Yep. Yeah.
She's like, what's the point of living? What's the point of being... What?
That's like...
It all crumbles. It's all gone.
Yeah. She tries to do one thing and then it doesn't even matter in the end.
And the most important, like, mark that she could have left.
Yeah.
Gone.
But I think that this is like another turning point when Luke shows up. And the first thing he says is, I'm sorry. And she notes that it's the first time she's ever heard those words in that silken voice. The only time they will ever sound honest. More honest than him saying that he loves her. It's, I'm sorry. It's crazy.
Because I wrote down, like, Luke, compassionate?
Yeah.
Was he being compassionate? Or was, again, this another ploy to, like, pull? Because he's like, I know later he's like, oh, I had to, you know, change my tactics, yada, yada. But if he really was, like, ooh, Estelle, that's who she, like, there's a connection there. She's always come back to the same place. Let me try to become more friend for her, like, prey on that.
I want to believe that this was true.
Yeah.
That he was genuinely sorry. Because I think he can relate as a god. Because I think he really does, like, him making deals with all these people, it's all about making art flourish. That these people have something that they're striving for so badly that they're going to give up their soul in a limited amount of time just to make this one thing happen that they want so bad. And I think Luke sees that as like his own planting of seeds.
Yeah.
And so I think that he may have a little bit of sadness when it comes to now taking that away, like, once they've done the thing.
A bittersweetness in that.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, I get the soul, but also like...
I lose the art.
Like, yeah.
Plus, I mean, interesting that you say that. You can almost see like a kinship in a way between him and Addie, because they're both from, we're seeing Sinatra, Beethoven,
Joan of Arc, all these. I know Joan of Arc's a little different, but like all these artists work in their own way. That's who he like makes it. Not that it's everybody, but like important ones. They both love the art in that, Yeah, so I thought that was like, I like that word kinship, that I think he can understand because, one, Estelle was important to her, but she also, like you were saying, like, that was the mark that was the most important to her that she left with the tree.
Yeah. And
that being taken away, I feel like could, be similar to him having to cut down the tree, the person.
Yeah.
After, they did make such art, but could have continued making art if they didn't make this deal.
Right.
I don't know, I think that's interesting.
No, I did like that. And I think he was being genuine in that.
I hope so.
Like, 200 years, he's like, dang, you really been the strongest one that I've made a deal with, And so I've come to know her as best that I can, not being a human, not being able to really, and I can see that she lost something. I can still have a little favoritism towards you. So, like, I'm sorry.
And a little relatability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's so sad. It says she will never go back.
Yeah.
Which is so sad because it's like, and even though we know, even in 2014, she's still thinking about Estelle, but she just can't bring herself to go back.
Yep.
And like be at her grave and stuff because it's
That's
just
not what she wanted.
Not what she wanted. Oh.
That hurts. I will say though, I did tab. Pin. Excuse me.
Don't change it now.
I know. Come on now. So, here's the thing. Luke lifts his glass. Happy anniversary, my Adeline. But then she stops short, watching him. If she is his, then by now, he must be hers as well. Happy anniversary, my Luke. Just to see the face he'll make.
He kind of liked it.
He was like, oh, my Luke?
If he wasn't falling for her before, I think that
might have got him. That might have got him. He was like, my Luke. He's like, I've never kind of heard.
He's like, I've never been anyone else's before.
Right.
You've always been mine. All these people's souls are mine, but I've never been somebody else's. That's kind of sweet, though.
That is.
I will say, you and I, we talked about this in the last episode.
What we talked about?
Enemies to lovers. And we weren't quite sure what was going to happen with Addie and Luke.
Yeah.
And we were saying that if they did end up being together, that this would be the honest to God version of enemies to lovers. And I stand by that.
Yeah.
And I think this
because also this one, it's like, it's not the enemies to lovers that we've seen where it's like, we don't like each other, but we end up liking, like, not even a romantic, but just we like each other. Yeah. And we end up working on it. Now we're like
enemies buds. To friends or allies to lovers. It's not that.
No. Because this one's like, this is still a chess match through the whole time.
This is enemies,
we are enemies
to lovers.
To lovers.
There's no in between. There's no
the whole time.
Friends.
We've accepted each other. We still have that, nod. It's still a chess match.
Absolutely.
But it's enemies to lovers. Still a little bit enemies though.
Yes. Period.
Yeah.
This is the truest enemies to lovers that I have ever read. And not that I love it, but I like it.
Yeah, I respect the hell out of it.
I respect it. That's the word. Because I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but this
Yeah. This is how you write enemies to lovers.
That's how you write enemies to lovers, period. Yes.
And let's even say that they did end up loving each other. Because, like, we're still... but Addie, I don't know how you feel exactly. Yes, but no, but was it real love? Yada, yada. Same for him. But let's say it really was. It's still... There's still that, like...
Yeah.
We don't ever...
The pipeline is still straight from enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Oh, that was good.
And so here we get the slim band carved of pale ash wood. It's her ring. And this is where she actually gets the ring.
Yeah.
Because it's been, I have the ring, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Which is weird because she's like, wait, I thought you destroyed it. But he kind of, I know he made it out of the soul, so it wasn't her ring.
Yeah.
But how would she know that this is even still the same ring? I know it looks exactly the same.
When she, first, when she was 23, and she, was it? It was the ring, right?
Yeah, because that's what she gave. She, buried it.
Okay, yeah. Because then I know before he was just, snapped or something and, fell to ash or something.
Yeah.
So in her, she was like, oh, they destroyed it. It was more that's his way of taking it. So I think that's what she was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Because he says, I took it. It's not the same thing as destroying it.
Yeah.
And she's like,
okay.
Motherfucker.
Okay. Okay, so I had pinned something here. Okay, so we're talking about the ring. She said, you destroyed it. I took it. That's not the same thing. You said it was enough. I said it was not enough. You said it was nothing. I said it was not enough. But I do not ruin beauty without reason. It was mine for a time, but it was always yours. What must I do? You know how to summon gods. And then Estelle's voice, faint as a breeze. You must humble yourself before them. Put it on and I will come. Now we are even. Then we'll never be even. So yeah, same thing of the ring is just put it on and I'll be there.
It's interesting though that Estelle's voice
I know.
is in her brain there. Because is it reminding Addie that this is still a game? Is that the significance of that?
Yeah, because then maybe it's the same thing as afterwards we'll never be even. It is a challenge, a game, parading as a gift. Not a war so much as a wager. A battle of wills. For her to don the ring, to call on Luke, would be to fold, to admit defeat, to surrender.
Right.
So is that just having Estelle there kind of humble yourself, remember, this is still a game?
Is Estelle's voice in her head and her remembering Estelle the last tether to her humanity?
That's what I'm thinking.
And that's what keeps her different to Luke. Because I think that if she didn't have Estelle and she gave that up and was just, then she would be...
She wouldn't be human anymore.
Right, which Luke thinks that she's not human anymore.
Yeah.
But I think her tether to Estelle and remembering this is what Estelle would do. This is, how Estelle thought.
This is who I am.
And this is who I want to be.
Right.
So I'm going to strive and remember her takes and try to do what she would do.
To keep me
from just floating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We're so good. Call us the scholars.
Call us the scholars. Changing our podcast name.
The Scholars Podcast. That's a pretty good name.
That's cute. Don't take that.
What? You're going to start your own without me?
It's an S. It's both of us. I am you and me.
I'm Bree and she's Kelcie. Welcome to the alternate universe.
Where I'm actually with Brady.
This is Doctor Who parallel universe.
Alright. Chapter 2.
This is 2014, New York City, the anniversary. It is July 29th, 2014. And of course, Addie's gonna be fucking terrified that Luke is gonna come and fuck shit up, which he does.
So now we see her lives kind of crossing here.
Yep. And now it has been 300 years officially.
Yeah.
To the anniversary. And there's a reminder. They're like, I hope you didn't forget. Addie still has the ring and it still follows her around. Right at the beginning there. because she feels it in her hand. She wakes up and it's in her hand. Luke said, no, we're not putting it in your pocket. We're not putting it on your bedside. We're putting it straight in your hand.
When I know he's out of the bed, but like with your boyfriend, I know your situation's our anniversary. I'm still here, still watching.
And girl is trying to like...
Girl is stressing.
She's like, no, he won't come. I haven't seen him in like 40 years. No. But what if he does? No, he won't. But what if he does?
But if he's Henry. Yeah. Okay. Hold on, I gotta find where it is.
Why don't you pin it?
Because I was running out of tabs.
Girl.
I was running out of pittance. Okay. Hold on.
You'll find it.
I'm finding it. Oh, I didn't fit it.
Nope.
It's at the end though. Okay, before then, do you have anything?
No, just that, again, the wooden ring is like following her even more than normal.
And out falls the wooden ring.
Yep.
Luke's like, don't
I'm
forget.
still
I'm still here. Okay, this is my question. So, at the end, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, she's, the whole time she's like worried because I don't want Luke to come. He's like, it's the anniversary. Don't let him ruin it. We're going to make something different of it. Yada, yada, yada.
Go to the beach.
We'll go to the beach. We're going to day together. So, they have a good time, da, da, da. And then, she's, cuddling into Henry. And then he whispers 3 words into her hair. I love you, he says. And Addie wonders if this is love, this gentle thing, if it is meant to be this soft, this kind. The difference between heat and warmth, passion and contentment. I love you too, she says. She wants it to be true.
Yeah. Yep. I literally wrote it.
Yeah. So...
Yeah.
Does she love him?
Well, later.
Right.
She's like, yes, this is love.
Right now.
But here and now, I think that she does love him.
Yeah.
I just think, again, the day is so clouded in her mind where she's like, I can't even think about that right now. Like, is this love? Like, because she's pondering everything right now. She's like,
the last time she had love or thought it was love, it's this toxic, thing with Luke.
Right. And you're talking about it on the anniversary.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that Henry would say it on this day.
Like, when I know he's going to be on your mind and...
Yeah. That's interesting.
Did he know they had a past?
A
romantic past?
At this point, I don't know.
Unless we're seeing,
I don't think so.
What we've read is, like, kind of like what she's told him. And there's, like, hints of the romance. So maybe...
he's going to figure it out real soon.
Right.
Because...
But still. So I think she's like... She... Subconsciously, yeah, this is love. But also... I thought it was love, and that was, this burning, just hate, but, toxic, whatever. I thought that was love, but this one's just so opposite.
Yeah.
That, like, I want it to be love, but I don't.
But it's also interesting because in the last part, when she sees, what's his name? Toby Marsh on stage at Henry's birthday.
Yeah.
She has to run out, and he asks her, like, do you still have feelings for him? And she, in her brain, she was like, well, yes. Like, I'll always have love for all these different people. I hold so many candles because I never get closure. But he's not talking about love.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't have feelings for him still. But she insinuates that she has loved.
And she knows what it is.
Yeah. So, with Henry, it's weird that she would say... that she wants it to be true, that she loves him at this point. It's just interesting.
I know.
Like, is she just defining it like, this is big love and those were little loves? Is this what big love is?
Because, like, she's never experienced something like this. And since it's so sweet and light, and the only thing she can really say that what she thought was love was that.
Because the only person who remembered her.
Right. So there's...
Yeah.
Yeah, because that you can see end up happening because, like, he looks like, the perfect person in my head. We slept together. He's the only person that remembers me, the only one I can rely on to say my name, to remember. So, like, I can see having some love feelings, you think, for him. And so I think she's just a little second-guessing herself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because also, like, this happened so quick. That's been 300 years in the making or whatever.
But you think, do you think
that I
she
think
loves
she
him?
does.
Okay.
She's just more like, with the trauma, I don't know now. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Then, are we done on chapter 2?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now we're on chapter 3. We're in Chicago, Illinois, 1928.
On the anniversary. And she's at a bar that's like a speakeasy.
It's been 14 years that she's had the ring.
And she hasn't seen Luke.
Hasn't seen Luke.
Yeah, because she hasn't put it on yet.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But it's always within reach. And she has it on a necklace. Which is interesting. Because we know later, she's like, fuck that ring.
Yeah.
But right now, she's like, okay, I'll hold it close.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you think she's holding it close at this point?
It probably still has to go back with, like, the only person that can say my name that knows me, who we've been constant, in each other's lives or whatever for the past, hundreds of years is him. It's like, dang, for some reason, if I do lose this, like, that's my only tie to Addie LaRue, So it's like, plus the familiarity.
Right, because it was her dad's, too.
Yeah.
That made it. So, I'm just trying to make a connection here. Maybe I'm reaching.
Make a connection. Let's never reach. Let's reach the stars.
Okay. I'm trying to make a connection with Estelle in her brain, keeping her tethered to her humanity.
Okay.
While with Luke, right now you have the physical tether with the ring to him and this other version of her.
Okay.
That Luke will say that she's not human anymore. So, like, the opposite of her humanity.
Okay.
Like that. And then later, she hears Luke's voice in her head. Remember? Now that she's, like, trying to throw the ring away, but she still hears him in her brain. So it's like she has the devil and the angel on her shoulders where, you have Estelle in her brain keeping her tethered to her humanity, and you have Luke trying to pull her away from that into this godly, like, ideology or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just me reaching, like I said, but...
No, I can see that.
Yeah.
Because I still think it still matches with, like, Estelle, the familiarity. And then same thing was here. It's like, here's a tie to my past, to who I am, but also a connection to still, like, as a person, that I'm Addie LaRue. He's the one who says, like, like, still that connection to who she was in her life, So she's not just a floating ghost.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that.
No, please. I'm going to be right there with you. Do you think it's interesting that hadn't seen him in 14 years, has the ring, but then she ended up at this little speakeasy, I think it is.
Yeah, speakeasy.
Yeah, speakeasy. And it's Luke's.
Yeah. And she was like, oh, wait, I shouldn't have realized with the angel, it doesn't have wings and, like, blah, 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 with the moon behind him.
Because you know how she can always feel him when he was there. Do you think, like, she subconsciously, like, would kind of pull towards there?
I could see that. But also it's like, how could she not? Because she does love finding those little hidden things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or do you think he knows that? And so he was like, boom.
They're like, hey, I'm here.
Come here. And like, let me pull you this way.
He definitely, I think, put it there on purpose. But, yeah, I don't know. What do you think? It said here, it will become a hobby of his, these kinds of clubs. He will plant them in a dozen cities, tend them like gardens, and grow them wild. As plentiful as churches, he will say, and twice as popular. Now, here's what right when I read that, I was like, who else do we know that made a club? Miss Addie LaRue with the fourth rail. I just was like, you're not the only one then, huh? Making clubs that are like...
get kind of a connection to their kinship?
Yeah.
In a way? Mm-hmm. Do you think he became so obsessed with her because, like,
like we're kind of similar?
See you in myself, or see
I think so.
myself in you, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of self-absorbed, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And then, I will say this whole time, heavy flirting.
I was kind of eating up the banter.
I was eating it up. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Nah, the flirting?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, Miss Addie.
Look, she's lived
She had a couple of drinks.
200 years. Which, okay, but I was also thinking about that with the drinks. Because if her body doesn't change, how does do drinks actually affect her?
I think before we saw, like, it doesn't last long. Like, she has a drink, will, get a little tipsy, then it'll go away after a few minutes.
Okay.
So I think, like,
girl's gonna be taking shots.
You a clean drink to keep that up.
I'd like 30 shots.
And 14 martinis. Yeah, literally. And then, banter, flirting, eating it up, love it. Real quick before you guys, because, like, I know you're hurt. I felt it falter. But I didn't. No. But I was tired of waiting. So you missed me? But then, he's way up front with it. Life is long. Humans are boring. You are better company. Boom, 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 boom. Then, his mouth hovers over her own. His voice dropping to nothing but a breeze. You belong to me. There's a sound like thunder in the back of his throat. With me.
I was a little bit like giggling and kicking my feet.
Because, like, mind you, a little possessive, a little danger, little bad boy kind of feel. Mind you, he has that whole not devil, but God, I don't know.
Do we actually love enemies to lovers? Is this when we realize that we actually love it? It just has to be written well?
It's like, I get it now.
I get it.
Enemies to lovers, you guys eat it out? I get it.
Wow.
And then, to remind y'all, yeah, I'm just as cruel as he, like, we're both on the same kind of level. She says, excuse me, and when she looks up into his eyes, she sees a new shade of green and knows exactly what it is. The color of a man off balance. His chest rises and falls as if it were a human thing. Here is a place to put the knife. I would rather be a ghost. And for the first time, the darkness flinches.
Do you think that that's showing him that she's losing her humanity?
He's probably like, whoa.
She really like me.
Hurts. But, like, damn.
She got me with that one.
She got me with that one. Like, we really the same.
Yeah.
Does he have feelings for her? Is this real? Does he love her?
Again, I think that it's not like human love, but I think it's I cannot wait to look up, because I'm still waiting till we finish reading the book to see if this was inspired by the Persephone Hades thing.
Yeah.
Because even though, like, in that mythology they're both gods, I'm curious, like,
because, like, she's kind of a god in a way, you can kind of say.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Like, she's not at the same level.
Right. But, like, she has the influence and she doesn't die.
Yeah.
And she's,
So, like, I think you were spot on with that. So I'm just, like, curious because, like, could you say that gods love in, like, mythology?
That's what I was just saying. Like, thinking of, like, Zeus and, all the other gods up there, like, they don't really know what love is.
No.
So, like, this is the same thing that I think. Like, thinking of Zeus, like, oh, I want that, I want it. Like, no, I love you, I'm so obsessed with you, like, you're mine. But he's gonna end up, like, there's no, they don't know what love is.
No. Yeah, I'm so curious to look that up.
Okay.
Do you have anything else on this one?
Nope.
Okay. Right. So here, we're back 2014. So, like, the 2014 for a while is like the same day.
Yeah.
the anniversary, July 29th, and it's just like,
like
taking little by little.
Yeah.
The day for the first time is the longest day. They're always like, oh no, everything goes in a flash, and like, you know, nope, not this day.
Because this is what shit goes down.
Yep. Now I see you've got something.
Chapter 4, New York, 2014. So, for here, again. Okay, they walk back to Henry's, heat log, drowsy, showers off the salt and sand, da-da-da-da. Book curls around her feet, Henry pulls her against him, and the bed is cool, and he is warm. And if it is not love, it is enough.
Which is crazy, because that's what Henry wanted, was to be enough. Isn't that beautiful?
You got me with that, because I was like, I was literally going to be like, that's crazy. If it's not love, that's enough. I'll be good with it. But all Henry wanted to be was enough.
Am I gonna make you cry?
That got me good.
Well, you have to also think about it. So they were together like the end of March.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not really going to count March, but you have April, May, June, July. So
Yeah.
they've really only been together for 4 months.
Yeah.
Like, and I know that there's like no timeline, you know, for love, but I mean, she's lived hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So it's like her timeline for love and her experiences too. Let's think about that. Is so different than his. So, you know, if she doesn't quite know if it's love or not, like, okay, that's understandable. But to say that it's enough, like, that's beautiful for this relationship. Because that is all he wants.
So I'm just thinking that for her, like, she has gone through all these experiences with other people.
Who forget her every single day.
So she's not really looking for love like Henry is. But she's just looking to have that fulfillment. Like, yeah, this is it. This is cool. This is what I want.
And that's enough.
Damn. No, I'm glad you said that. Because I was like, girl, you love him or not?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
But I think that's the beauty of it. She doesn't need
She has a lot of
to
trauma.
know.
She has a lot of... Luke just really got her good. Anyways. Anything else in here?
Well, yeah. Definitely a lot in here.
Yep.
So her and Henry, they take a little nap. They wake up and, you know, they're like, oh, like, Henry's like, I can go. And Addie's like, no, I actually want you to stay. Like, you're right. Like, we can't let this mess up this day. And they go out to, is it a bar? They said the Merchant. And it has a dance floor and stuff. So is it like a bar, restaurant?
Yeah. It's good.
Okay.
That's me.
So they go there. And champagne comes to the table. And they're like, oh, we didn't order this. And yeah.
We know exactly who it is.
Addie. Luke is there. And she's like, no, they can't, like, he can't see us here together. Like, oh my God, like, he's got to go. Like, you know, even though, girl, he's told you so many times that he doesn't have to physically be with you to be watching you. So you, for 4 months, you think that he's just turned an eye and focused
like,
on other things.
I don't even know what's going on with her life.
Not
Like,
at all. That's like, girl.
He knows.
He knows.
Whether you think he put him there, like, before even... He knows.
He knows. But yep. So he's there after 40 years. And he says, my love, you're looking well. So if Henry doesn't know yet, he sure as hell knows now. That at least on Luke's end, my love. Uh-oh.
Sorry, I'm just reading the part like... Because she's like freaking out because she thinks they're going to be, you know, sorry, what?
I was just going to say, for Luke to be like, I suppose I should be flattered by the resemblance. Like he didn't set that shit up.
Literally.
Like, oh, wow.
Trying to be like, I didn't even know. That's crazy.
No, oh my God.
Luke, you obsessed with her.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying... You know, she's like, oh, she's worried, like, please don't ruin this, da-da-da.
Yeah.
Why would I pull y'all apart? Like, As if I don't keep track of all my deals. Henry Strauss, so desperate to be wanted, sell your soul just to be loved. What a fine pair. Then let us have it. You think I mean to pull you apart? Not at all. Time will do that soon enough. Tick-tock. Tell me, are you still counting your life in days, or have you begun to measure it in hours? Or does that only make it harder? And of course, Henry starts to freak out. Oh, Adeline.
Don't Adeline me, Luke.
Humans live such short lives, don't they? Some far shorter than others. Save for the time you have left, and know it was his choice.
Luke, he just twisted the knife. And he's like, oh, let me just throw this little thing in there for you to think about. Because, of course, he's going to leave. And Addie's like, what does he mean? Yeah.
I wanted to tell you. She says, or she pulls the watch toward herself and studies the face. 4 months she's been with Henry. And in that time, the hour hand has crept from 6:30 to 10:30. 4 months and 4 hours closer to midnight. And she always assumed it would go around again. A lifetime, he said, and she knew it was a lie. It had to be.
And, yep, how long? How long?
How long did you ask for? How long? And then at last he tells her the truth.
It's crazy, though, that Adeline, I'm calling her Adeline because I think she's being a little dumb here.
Oh. I was like a bitch, but not really.
No. Because the way she words it, she says, Henry, how long did you ask for? As if Henry said, give me a year for this.
Yeah.
Honey, you're the only one that asked for a certain amount of time.
Yeah. People are just like, I want this, give this to me. All right, well, you can only have it for this much. Deal. Not, give me this for 4 years.
And I think that's Adeline, being, what is the word?
Like victim blaming?
No, not, well.
Naive?
Yeah, naive. Because it's like, girl, like, think about it. Because she just says before that Luke would never give another human so much time, not after her. Also not after you, is he gonna, make deals and negotiate.
Exactly.
So what makes you, like, it's just so naive of her.
Yeah. Because, like, why do you think after you, especially, like, a whole lifetime, obviously you haven't given it up, he's gonna want the soul, like, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So why do you think it's gonna be that he's gonna allow or grant a large sum of time?
Yeah. Or for them to have the ball in their court.
Yeah.
No, it's in his.
Yeah.
And then we see this chapter is where we see what quote unquote like actually happened.
Yeah.
With Henry going to the rooftop to potentially jump.
Yeah.
And that's apparently where Luke was like, oh, wait a minute. Let me give you a little offer. Yeah, not for a lifetime, for a single year. Again, the way that it's written makes it sound like the darkness makes an offer. He was the one who presented all the terms here. Like, Henry did not say, okay, well, how about a year?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's crazy. The simple truth is that he would have sold his soul for less. Would have traded an entire life entire life of this for just a day, an hour, a minute, a moment of peace. Just to numb the pain inside his chest, just to quiet the storm inside his head. He simply says yes.
That's crazy, though. I could not imagine.
You about to just end it all.
So, but it's curious to me that he, like, wait a minute. Sorry. I'm just thinking about it. Do you think that, wait.
Talk to me.
Okay. Do you think that what happened on the stairs is what happened? But Henry was like, no, this isn't real. Like, no, this is crazy. And he looks up at the roof. Luke's still there or whatever. But he looks up at the roof and he, like, leaves Luke and goes up to the roof. And then Luke follows him there and is like, well, here, let me tell you. the terms of the offer. A year. I'll give you a year for this thing. Because, like, we do see that it says, you know, he leans back on the rain-slicked stairs and looks up at the place where the rooftop meets the sky and wonders, not for the first time, how many steps from here to the edge. But it's weird. Because, like, we see, yeah, he's outside his building. He sinks onto the stoop. And, like...
But the thing is, and that, like, I'm here with you, but then also, and that is where the stranger finds him.
That's just where I guess I'm just trying to make it make sense.
Yeah, no, I know.
I don't know.
It's like, I see it, that could have started there, but gone up there. But then to say that's where the stranger found him when he made the deal.
It's just weird that it was, like, a lie. I don't know.
Maybe we're not reading this quickly. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
What actually...
like, are you
agreeing with this, or are we just missing it?
Yeah. Like, because I get what you're saying about, like, oh, he was telling himself a lie because he didn't want it to... But, like, it's just weird. I don't know. Because we saw him, like, sitting down, and then he tells him, like, well, each one be enough. Oh, let's make a deal.
Yeah.
Da, da, da. And then this is where the time limit was established. Right. Because we didn't hear anything about the time limit before.
Is it like a... Sorry, I don't know if this is just going too far out, but, like... I was gonna say at first, like, he's there with Luke, talking about the deal, hasn't made it a time limit yet. That's when he's looking up at the roof. And then Luke kind of, like... He's there in that moment, and that's when he tells him. Like, but it's not, because it's like, perhaps he decides to go in there and go upstairs and da-da-da. I don't know, never mind.
Okay, wait, sorry, I went back to, was it part 4?
Okay.
To the chapter that is this. Mm-hmm. And it does say, Henry reaches his building, but he can't bring himself to climb the 6 steps to the door. Blah, blah, blah. So he sinks onto the stoop, leans back, and looks up at the place where the rooftop meets the sky and wonders how many steps it takes to reach the edge. Forces himself to stop, presses palms against his eyes, and tells himself it's just a storm, which is what is here. That's literally what it says. And then...
But here it's like he actually does go and do that.
Yeah.
But there he changes his mind not to.
Well...
Or not to, but like...
No, but then it just says that 1 second Henry is alone, and the next he's not. And he's not sure when the man sits down beside him on the step. And they talk, and he's like, oh, they look the same, blah, blah, blah. It's just weird. I'm, like, trying to see, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, but he can't will his legs to move. The world is too heavy. The words keep coming now, spilling out of him. So it's saying that he hasn't moved from the stoop. Mm-hmm. And then he's staring at him. Okay, he gets up. He sways a little, but the stranger steadies him. Henry doesn't remember seeing the other man stand, but now they're eye to eye, and when the devil speaks again, there's a new depth to his voice, a steady warmth. Like a blanket drawn around his shoulders, Henry feels himself lean into it. The stranger holds out his hand. Henry doesn't think that any of this is real, or it doesn't matter. He just has nothing left to lose. In the end, it's easy as stepping off the edge and falling. Henry takes his hand, and the stranger squeezes hard enough to reopen the cuts along his palm, but at last he doesn't feel it. He doesn't feel anything as the darkness smiles and says a single word, deal.
So we go from, it's like a figuratively saying he steps off the ledge or whatever. Mm-hmm. Here it's saying he actually was about.
I don't know, it's just weird, because...
So did Luke kind of, like, transport him there?
That's what I'm, like, wondering, because it says here in the chapter that we're on in part 6, so, again, like, word for word, it's like he leans back on the rain-slick stairs and looks up at the place where the rooftop meets the sky and wonders, not for the first time, how many steps from here to the edge. But now it says he isn't sure when he decides to jump. Perhaps he never does. Perhaps he decides to go inside, and then he decides to go upstairs, and then he reaches his door, he decides to keep going, and when he gets to the last door, he decides to step out onto the roof, and at some point, standing there in the pouring rain, he decides he doesn't want to decide anymore. And then it says, and that is where the stranger finds him. That is where the darkness makes an offer. It's just, I'm so stuck on it.
I know.
And I don't know if I should be. But he's so tired of hurting, so tired of being hurt, and that is why when the stranger holds out his hand and offers to pull Henry back from the edge, there's no hesitation. He simply says yes.
So is this all figuratively?
But it's weird because later, that's where Addie and him go. They go to the rooftop because it's like, oh, it's like a metaphor. Like this was where he made the deal, and so this is where he'll die.
Okay, in my head, it started at the steps. He was woozy, whatever, so he's still like, lots going on here, depressed. I think he was drinking, right?
Right.
So I think with that, like, drunk, foggy mind, the depression, this whole thing, it's like Luke takes him up there. Because, like, that's subconsciously what he wants. So it's, like, all kind of mixed together because he's drunk, too.
Yeah.
So he is up there. So I feel like him is like, oh, maybe I did do that. Maybe I did walk up. But it was actually Luke who put him up there.
Yeah, because here it says he isn't sure when he decided to jump. Perhaps he never does. And it says perhaps he decides to go inside. So yeah, he doesn't remember going up there.
So it must be they started here from like, because when you're drunk, the next day it's like, okay, I remember everything, but like a little hazy. But I think, it's kind of like something like that. Because also, like, if the darkness transported you, you're, like, going to be, I don't know when he stood up next to me. Or is he just, so that thing is there, and he knows he's looking up there, so he's like, oh, let's go up there. I feel like it was Luke kind of messing with that.
So, because later, when Addie's, like, begging for Henry's life, Luke is like, well, you know where I found him. Like, he was going to jump, and I saved him.
Yeah.
And Addie's like, well, no. You don't know if he was gonna or not.
Yeah.
Because you stopped it before he even, had a chance. Right. So you can't say that he was just gonna die.
Yeah, so I definitely know Luke, like, let me push you up there, Will. Look, I can give you some time, but, or you could just, like...
And I think that we're right.
Yeah.
I think that we're right because we know that Luke knew that, pushed them together, and he's like, I have to make this deal happen. How am I going to do that?
Yeah.
Let me, put this guy in this
Here, you can either
state.
Jump off, or I can give you a year of what you truly wanted.
Yeah. I think we're right.
Yeah.
And I wonder if we're going to be told that we're right in the last part, or if we're just totally delusional.
Let us know if you agree, or what you think. But I think we're right.
I think we're right. Because it's just so strange that we had it two different ways.
Yeah.
And the wording. Yeah. The wording here.
Plus, we know Luke. He'll use the kind of tweak it to his advantage and take advantage of that.
V.E. Schwab, I don't think she does anything without purpose.
Absolutely.
So...
We're right.
We're right. And if we're not, we're still right.
We're basically right.
Yeah. Chapter 6.
Chapter 6.
Okay, so still 2014, July 29th, the anniversary. And this is where we actually find out, Addie finds out, it's a year. And that's crazy because they have, 2 months left?
36 days.
Oh, 36 days. So a month and a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and he didn't tell her. And he wasn't gonna tell her, which I can understand why.
Yeah.
And he, he makes a point. He was like, well, my uncle had cancer and he treated them different.
Warning him before he even passed.
So I can understand that.
Yeah.
But also, this is the girl that understands way more than most people.
And she's gonna obviously outlive you for hundreds of years.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been interesting to see them have a conversation about their different, time limits, even if he lied about it and was like, well...
It's not a life, it's not
the same as yours.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still human in the lifeline department.
Right.
So, like, what would happen, Addie, if I died, you know?
Or, like, what's going to happen after? Because, you know, obviously I can't live forever, so...
Right. And he would grow old. Like, we never saw a conversation about the future with them.
Yeah.
Which I do think was intentional on Henry's part. But and I mean, I guess it would make sense because Addie's never had a future with someone.
Yeah.
So I guess it would make sense she didn't bring it up. But still, I think that would have been a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, because, like, she's never going to grow old, never going to age. You're obviously had a birthday, you're aging, you know, all this stuff. So wouldn't that be some sort of conversation?
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Anyways.
But here, again, the ring is still following her. So Luke, even though he walked away to let them have their little conversation, he's like, just remember, I'm here. I'm here. Where are we? So she's thinking about Luke.
Yeah. Because, like, she finds out it's for a year. She's like, all right, bet. I'm going to go fix this. Then, boom, she finds Luke.
Right. Because she puts it on.
Yeah. She's like, I'm pissed.
Yeah. She's like, Luke, you better get your ass out here.
Right fucking now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. It says, all these years and you still have such a temper. With the banter, stop, Luke. Okay. Something brushes her neck, and then a silver thread, thin as dew shine, the same one snapped so long ago, shimmers on her collar. So I'm taking that as, like, the necklace that she had the ring on.
Yeah.
And he's like, remember when you had it around your neck? Remember when you always wanted the option?
You miss me?
You miss me? Yeah.
Because, like, Luke...
I miss you, Luke.
You in hot shit right now. Don't try to flirt with me. I'm pissed. Undo it.
Yeah.
Who are you to give orders? Is that a line? Yeah. There was a time when you groveled, pressed yourself against the damp forest soil, and pleaded for my intercession. You want me to beg? Then fine. I beg you, please undo it. But, like, come on.
Yeah. And just, like, her... I think this, like, just shows how much she does love Henry. Because... this girl is not one to beg after the first time. She's like, no, like, I'm not stooping.
She is solid.
Yeah, like, because Luke wants to break her. He would have loved to see her beg all these other times, and she never stooped to that.
Yeah.
But for Henry, she said, yeah, no, I'll fucking beg. I will go on my hands and knees, and I will fucking beg you to save this man. And to me, again, if that's not love,
I don't know what it is.
Oh. And of course, you know, he's like, well, have an anniversary with me. Like a real one. Please, Addie.
A proper one. Let's spend time together. And then you can persuade me.
Yeah.
He's like, obviously this is a lie, but, like, I have to continue to keep trying to find a way myself.
So she's like, yeah. And then she goes to her Henry. And they're just like, you know what, like...
because, like,
cuddle.
And Addie realizes that she's going to lose him the way she has lost everyone. And she doesn't know if she can do it. Not again. Not this time.
Which is another thing that you and I were talking about throughout the whole thing was we knew Henry was going to die.
Yeah.
And we did think that he was going to die sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And you and I, we theorized that she would let go of her life and her soul once Henry died. And that, like, it's another point to that. Like, you know, if...
I don't know if she can do it again.
Yeah. So, it's interesting what we find out she decides to do.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. It's just like, because she's still losing him in a way. And she will lose him because he'll have a normal lifeline, but he will still die.
Right. But it's not taken prematurely. He's still able to have a life.
But she won't be in it.
Yeah. But I think that proves her love for him. Like I'd rather you alive and happy than take it.
With me and die in 30 days. True.
And then that's when we know it's specifically 36 days.
Yeah. And then it's like, well, it's after midnight. Okay, well, 35. You don't have to rub it in my face.
Like, literally, damn, bitch.
She's like, no, we gotta be specific. Which I would probably say that too.
Yeah.
Well, technically it's after midnight. So is it 36 still or
35?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so then,
Yeah.
what are we, chapter 7?
Yep.
We're in 1944. She's been a spy for 3 years. I think it's sick as hell.
I know.
Love that.
I like almost want to see more of her adventures.
I know, like even a little like novella or I don't know, just something.
Yeah.
Because like a spy, like that would be the sick. Like that's how you use this curse.
Yeah.
Hey, the rebels are gonna be right there. Hey, you want to go ahead and turn? Like
And
what?
it's so perfect because no one will remember telling her.
Yeah,
So like no one would even realize there's a spy. Like she's literally the perfect spy.
the perfect spy.
Yeah. But like I could see like a novella being like The Adventures of Addie LaRue.
Yes, so like it would be so good.
Yeah.
V.E. Miss Schwab.
But I think it would take away from the story.
It would.
In a way.
It would.
But I still like it.
But
I'm sure there's fan fiction. Maybe
Okay.
that's what we have to do.
yeah, okay, we can just do fan fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's not, please someone write it.
Anyways, so she gets caught, kind of basically. She's in a cell, can't get away, I think. And she's like, well, damn, they're going to forget I'm in here. I'm going to be stuck in here forever, da da da, or whatever. She calls on Luke. She's like, well, damn, I'm kind of scared. Don't be stuck here. And then I think he just ends up saving her.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, she does kind of beg here a little bit.
Yeah. Which is, I don't know, for me it feels weird, because, like, is she scared the men in the cell are going to, like...
But she didn't seem scared of the men in the cell.
Right.
She seemed more scared of the soldiers.
Right, but then, okay, they're going to forget you're in there, so if they come see her, like, they're like, what the hell are you doing here? I don't know, can you let me out? Like, when they just let her...
But she was saying here that the men don't care. They won't remember all these quote-unquote foreign faces. So she's like, they don't, doesn't
every
matter.
time they see her, it'll just be like, oh, just another prisoner, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So...
Okay, I can see that then.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, shit.
And again, I think it's really interesting that this keeps coming up.
Yeah.
About wars and how Luke feels about war.
Yeah.
Because it keeps being brought up.
Yeah.
And he keeps saying, I fucking hate wars. And Addie's like, well, I'm so surprised that you hate wars. I thought you loved wars. No, I fucking hate wars.
Yeah.
I just think that's really interesting that it keeps being brought up. And you know what I just thought of? I think it's another relation to Hades and Persephone. Because
Yes.
at least in Percy Jackson,
Yeah.
Hades hates war. He's
Yeah.
like, I don't have any fucking room.
Yeah.
All these dead people in my kingdom. Stop dying, bitches.
Because when you think of Hades, like, he's very separate. He's like, I'm not in trouble, doing my own thing, down here, whatever.
But people think he loves war because,
there's death in wars, you have to love it.
Yeah, and like that's what your whole thing is. But and I'm sure, you know, Rick Riordan got inspiration from other mythology that Hades wouldn't like having all this like war to keep having death and stuff. So again, I think that's another like metaphor thingy, whatever you call it, connection.
Yes. This is literally Hades and Persephone.
Because Persephone is the goddess of springtime and you know, making things grow. And that's what Addie does. Everything she touches flourishes like a flower.
Bro.
If we're wrong.
No, we're not.
We're right.
V.E. Schwab is gonna come into the comments. Holy shit, like, yeah. That's
exactly
what I did. I didn't know if anyone was gonna notice. Yeah, we did.
We did.
Girl, it's right here, plain as day.
I'm gonna laugh when, like, after I finish reading this, I'm gonna go, like, look at other people's, like...
You're like, oh, yeah, it's like a retelling of Hades.
Yeah. It's like, we're acting like we're the first people that ever figured this out. But you know what? We are the first people that we know of. Because we did not look up anybody else's theories or anything before this. So, you know what? Slay for us.
Thank you. All right. Also a little thing. Like, Luke, save me. Look at you. Come on. Takes her, drops her off, then leaves. There's no... I'll save you if you give me your soul. you gotta beg for a little beg, but like, there's no, and afterwards, like, there's no little, just, all right, boom.
No, he's playing a game. This is his new tactic. Yeah.
Like, okay, play hard to get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, chapter 8? This is like the day after.
Yeah. In 2014. Mm-hmm. And so, again, the ring in her pocket, where it always is. Mm-hmm. And she's gonna put it on. And Henry's like, please don't. Mm-hmm. Like, please. He's like, just let me, let me keep my curse. Like, let me keep my deal. And she's like, bitch, no.
He's like, you're wasting time. Like, let's just be here. Because obviously he's not gonna, like, take the curse away,
Mm-hmm. So, like, question to you.
What's the question?
Do you think that Addie should have done this? Because she even says, it's like, you've made your peace with this, Henry, but I haven't.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that, like, it was right for her to try to take this into her own hands, even though Henry has accepted this? He's like, I made the deal. I made the choice.
I think it's the same thing when you learn someone's about to die and you're like, no. Like, let's say a doctor. I'm a surgeon. Mm-hmm. This is the love of my life. The doctors say, no, you're about to die. Well, I can do something about this. I'm going to figure it out. Like, I'm going to make sure that I did everything I can for you. So I'm going to go find a way because I'm a doctor. I can do this. So I think it's the same way where she knows that she has, like, rapport with Luke. This is the love of her life. If there's something she can do, she's going to do it. Mm-hmm. So I know it's both where it's like, it's inevitable, but let them have their thing to go and try so they feel like once I've passed, they don't have regrets or feel, any guilt or whatever for, so I can see both.
But then there's the added layer that Henry doesn't know what she's going to bargain. You know? So is it better to have them kind of have each other and, live what's left of his life together and doing the things that they're going to do to make it as fulfilling as possible, that he has accepted it. And maybe, in this month, she can learn to accept it. Mm-hmm. Or have her go and make a bargain, a deal on your behalf without you knowing the terms and what's going to happen to Addie. Yeah. Because he's scared, I think, for Addie here.
Yeah.
Like, that, I feel like, is kind of mean. Like, I get it, and
Yeah.
But, like, from Henry's point of view, like, I can see that, like, you're betraying me and my feelings to go do this for me that I don't even want you to do for me.
I feel like we've seen that kind of situation in, like, TVs, movies, all that kind of thing. But, but I can see it from both perspectives. Like, I agree. Like, they're kind of disregarding what you want and what's happening to you because this is your situation, not theirs. So I see that. But with them, I love this person. I can't give up on this person. There's something that I can do, so I want to do that for them. Yeah. It's like I can see both.
Because I'm really curious for part 7, because she did make a deal that she didn't tell Henry that she's got to go and not be with him.
Yeah.
So for Henry, that's not what he asked for. That's not, he didn't even know. So, like, it's kind of hurtful in a way because it's like, okay, I'm going to leave you, but you're going to live. But, like, I'm going to leave you and I'll never see you ever again.
Yeah.
But guess what? You get to live. Well, he had already accepted that he was going to die.
Yeah.
Did you ask him if he wanted to keep going, though?
I know.
Because, like, they never really had that conversation. And, like, sure, you would assume that someone wants to live, like, no one wants to die. But he accepted it.
Plus, before this, I mean, mind you, he's only 28 or 30 or whatever he is now because he got his birthday. But, like, he's still a young man.
Yeah.
Who has a whole life ahead of him. I know before this, he was kind of, like, floating, drifting, depressed, just not really have a sense of who he is. But, like, yeah, you're only 30. Like, you're still young. So you have all this time. So I can see why he would be okay with dying. Because, like, there wasn't really anybody before. It's not like it was going to get any better then. So I see his POV of wanting to just, hey, I'm better, and it's fine.
Yeah.
But then I see her like, well, now you have a purpose. You have time to find yourself.
Totally. Yeah.
And plus, she's had 300 years. So, like, my time was probably long overdue. So if I could trade, my life for yours, it makes sense.
Yeah. But it's just, like, harsh.
But it's
sad.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the point, but, like.
Yeah. There's no way to, like, have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah, but I'm really curious, like, what that part 7 is.
I know.
Just like, are we going to see Henry and his reaction to it all? But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is, so she's going to go have a meal, anniversary, whatever, with Luke. And she's like, okay, there are rules. You're not going to take me out of the city.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go through your shadowy thingy again. And he's like, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah.
You know, like, silly, goofy girl, but fine.
Yeah, so she goes with him.
Yeah.
Then, we're on, what is this, 6?
This is 9.
9, excuse me.
Yeah.
So we're in, so it's LA, 1952. Obviously, you know, Addie's having a cute little date with her man that she's been introducing herself for 2 months, whatever. And then, it's kind of funny. Have you ever met someone and felt like you've known them for ages? She's like,
I get that all the time. That's so weird.
On both coins of that one. That's crazy. You think, like, we know each other for like 2 months now. But also, Luke I've known for ages. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't. I do. But then, of course.
But here, we also do see that it's the silver thread at her throat, the wooden ring.
Still wearing it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Does she put on the necklace each day, or she just doesn't take it off? Like, her not thinking she's gonna lose it.
I just don't think she takes it off, because why would she?
Like, why are you wearing it?
Well, at this point, she's still like, well, I like Luke. Because Luke, last we saw, was Luke saving her from the prison.
True. She's like, I need to keep that.
Yeah.
Can't lose that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she doesn't have bad blood with him quite yet.
Yeah. Okay.
But then again, I think it's really funny because Champagne goes to their table, and yes, Max was the one who got it for her, but I think that's an interesting, like, to what just happened at the anniversary, because Luke is there.
Yeah.
At that moment. He's like, hey, that's my girl. And Max is like, whoa, what? But yeah, I think that's so funny because Addie's like, oh, come on.
Bro, why are you being an asshole? I'm trying to, like, enjoy my time.
Cock blocker.
It's like, how long have you been with this one? 2 months? All right. He falls for me every day and forgets you every night. Oh. Damn. At least he keeps me company.
Oh.
Those emerald eyes trail over her skin. So would I, if you wanted.
And this is where shit takes a little turn.
A flush of warmth sweeps across her cheeks. He cannot know that she has missed him. Thought of him the way she used to think of her stranger alone in bed at night. Addie! Thought of him every time she toyed with the ring at her throat, every time she didn't. You was thinking about Luke 24/7.
Good for her.
In a very spicy way as well.
Good for her. But then they dance. And again, it's interesting that it's at a club.
I know.
I wonder if that was one of Luke's.
It had to be.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because, like, do you think that he was there for another reason?
Well, we see Sinatra.
Right, but it's not his time yet.
Yeah.
But, like, do you think that Luke was, like, watching her and that's why he was there? Or do you think that he was, like, watching Sinatra and he was just like, oh, Addie's here too?
No, he was definitely watching her.
That's what I thought, but I just wanted to hear her thoughts.
But then, they're dancing.
Yeah.
And then, his body wraps around her like a blanket, like a breeze, like the night itself. But tonight, he does not feel like a thing of shadow and smoke. Tonight, his arms are solid against her skin. His voice slides through her hair.
Flip that page.
His shoulder molded to her cheek, or their bodies pressed together, one shape to fit the other perfectly. His shoulder molded to her cheek. His hands molded to her waist. I want you. I have always wanted you.
That's a lie.
But then she's like, I know we're like kind of feeling it, but you want me as a prize. You want me as a meal or a glass of wine, just another thing to be consumed. And he presses his lips to her collarbone. Is that so wrong? She fights back a shiver as he kisses her throat. Is it such a bad thing His mouth trails along her jaw, to be savored. His breath brushes to her ear, to be relished. His mouth hovers over hers, and his lips, too, are molded to her own. She will never be quite sure which happened first, if she kissed him or he kissed her, who began the gesture and who rose to meet it. She will only know that there was space between them and that it has vanished. She has thought of kissing before, but da-da-da-da-da. But in all her conjurings, he'd taken her mouth as if it was a prize. After all, that is how he kissed her the night they met. This is how she assumed he would always kiss, but now he kisses her like someone tasting poison, cautious, questing, almost afraid.
That's so interesting.
The heat?
I also really love that. Like, he kisses her like someone tasting poison. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
V.E. Schwab.
V.E.
Yeah.
But she has kissed a lot of people, but none of them will ever kiss like him.
Don't let Henry know. But also, he's a god. Or, an entity of not human capacity.
Last thing. That first time, it is kind of a fight. Neither letting down their guard, each watching for the telltale glint of some hidden blade seeking flesh. When they finally collide, it is with all the force of bodies kept too long apart. It is a battle waged on bed sheets.
Yeah, that's literally the definition of enemies to lovers. That is literally enemies to lovers. Right here. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
And then she goes and closes the blinds so it's dark to be like, stay.
Yeah. Oh. That's Addie, I feel like her humanity showing there. That's like such a human thing to do.
But here is the question. Yes, this is, enemies to lovers, right?
Yeah.
But this is your enemy.
Yeah.
He cursed your life. You've seen the dark in him. You've seen him be a monster.
Yeah.
But now you want him sexually, you sleep with him, you don't want him to leave. Like, what?
But let me flip that for you. You are wanting him despite all of this. Despite seeing his true self. You still want him. So what is that?
Enemies to lovers.
Enemies to lovers.
Woo! That was a good one.
Yep. Okay.
Chapter 10.
Chapter 10. I love the way that, like, she titled it, you know? Where it says Everywhere, Nowhere, 1952 to 1968.
16 years.
Yeah. But I love that it was like, it didn't matter where we were.
Yeah.
Because we were with each other. That's crazy. Yeah. But, I'm going right to the end of this.
Let's go to the end.
Because here's where we were right. So, she does not know when the shift started. If it was a specific point in time, or, as Luke once warned her, the slow erosion of a coast. All she knows is that she's tired, and he is the place she wants to rest. And that, somehow, she is happy. But it is not love. Whenever Addie feels herself forgetting, she presses her ear to his bare chest and listens for the drum of life, the drawing of breath, and hears only the woods at night, the quiet hush of summer, a reminder that he is a lie, that his face and his flesh are simply a disguise, that he is not human, and this is not love.
I will say, I 100%, sorry, I have to close it real quick. I 100% understand Addie and Aldous.
Yeah.
It has been hundreds of years.
Yeah.
I'm having to do one-night stands every night if I want to, like, really like somebody and be with them or whatever. I'm having these connections, but not really, but yes, and I'm going through as a ghost and da-da-da. I'd be tired too. You know me. I obviously am attracted to you because I literally conjured you up, like made you in my head, boom. you could say my name, you know me, we have this, you know, connection, we've known each other all this time, like, yeah, I'd probably be like, why not? But still knowing, like, all right, I'll be here, but I know it's not real.
Yeah. Like, this is purely for, like, the image of...
To have intimacy.
Yeah.
But to not be lonely.
Yeah.
To be with someone that knows me, can say my... Like, you know, to have that.
Yeah.
16 years, though?
But what is 16 years to them?
I know.
Honestly, if you think about it, that's really short for them.
I know, but 16 years still?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, chapter 11, where, again, it's July 30th to 2014, so the day after the anniversary. She's on her date with Luke. And he's all like, do you remember the opera? Like, do you remember all these things? Like, do you remember being with me? And she's like, yeah, of course I fucking remember everything, Luke. But I think here, so again, like the servers are like puppets, and she's like, send them away, and he does. And she says, would you do that to me? Luke shakes his head. I could not, he says. And she thinks he means because he cared for her too much. But then he says, I have no power over promised souls. Their will is their own. It's a cold comfort, she thinks, but it is something. And I just was like, that's so interesting.
Again, I think it shows he's not human. He doesn't have human emotions. Like, we still see that, like, he may say all this stuff and, like, love you and care for you and da-da-da, but, like, it's not, he's still out of touch.
Well, again, and the I have no power over promised souls. Their will is their own. So he really took a gamble with Henry.
Yeah.
So because he was like, I can't make him fall in love with Addie. I can't force them to even run into each other.
So does that say, I know what Addie likes? I know that she'll fall for him, and, like, everyone's kind of drawn to her anyways, so, like...
Right.
You know?
But yeah. But I just feel like there's some sort of play here. Like, that line just... It feels like it's way more significant than even we realize yet.
Yeah.
And maybe, again, I'm just reaching. I don't know, because we only have, 3 chapters left?
Yeah.
But I have no power over promised souls. Their will is their own. Like, that's crazy, because... You can't really say that, though, about the end, because he'll forcefully take their soul.
Yeah.
I mean, but I guess it's because, like, that's a binding contract. But
Yeah, that is
it's just interesting, though, that line.
Yeah.
Like, their will is their own. Just interesting. I don't know.
But also, I think it's kind of comforting, too, to know that Henry fell for me. And if you hadn't been in the way, and, like, he could remember me, whatever, he still would have fallen for me. Like, it was on his own accord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still.
Also, I think this also shows, like, what Luke is to her. Because, like, tell me, Adeline, have you missed me? Of course she missed him. But she can tell herself, as she has told him, that she only missed being seen or missed the force of his attention, the intoxication of his presence. But it's more than that. She missed him the way someone might miss the sun in winter, though they still dread its heat. She missed the sound of his voice, the knowing in his touch, the flint-on-stone friction of the conversations, the way they fit together. He is gravity. He is 300 years of history. He is the only constant in her life, the only one who will always, always remember. And I feel like after 300 years, obviously you're going to have some attachment to this person. And I think she's, like, saying that here, like, of course I'm going to miss you.
Yeah.
Because, like, you have been my constant this entire time. You remember me. You know, you're literally the person that I conjured in my head. I think she's, like, also in there, it's kind of reading, like, people who are in abusive relationships, they still love that person, even though they know there's bad there, or, like, you can see, well, there's a reason they love this person or with this, you know, like,
yeah.
Even though you're scared of that part of them. So I think it's like she's still aware, like, hey, I know what we are still. Like, of course, I can respect what we have, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But I also, again, the mention of the ring, he brushes the ring on her finger, traces the whorls of the wood. How many times did you almost put it on? How often do you think of me? And again, it's like him just wanting the reciprocation so bad.
Yeah.
But then here, I liked this quote a lot. So Addie says, like, no, you're not capable of love because you cannot understand what it is to care for someone else more than yourself. If you loved me, you would have let me go by now. Luke flicks his fingers. What nonsense. It is because I love you that I won't. Love is hungry. Love is selfish. You are thinking of possession. He shrugs. Are they so different? I have seen what humans do to the things they love. People are not things, and you will never understand them. I understand you, Adeline. I know you better than anyone in this world. Because you let me have no one else. I know you won't spare me, Luke, and perhaps you're right, we do belong together. So if you love me, spare Henry Strauss. If you love me, let him go. She's literally spelling it out for him.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. Trust me, I know. No. No, I love you. She's like, no, this isn't love.
You love me as a possession.
You love the idea of me. You love that you created me to be this way.
Put me on that pedestal to see, like, look, I did that, I like that, it's great, it's my work.
Yeah.
This is not love.
No.
No, it's because I love you that I want to keep you. No. That is, like, infatuation.
Yeah.
That's, possession. That's not genuine love.
I'm curious what you think of this, because obviously at the end of this part, we know that she gives herself up. She's like, okay, I'll be with you, Luke. Do you think that Luke won't love his idea of love her anymore because he has her now?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And he'll be like bored.
He likes this chase. He likes, taunting her, like having it, but not, and you know. But once he has it, he's like, oh.
Exactly. So I feel like that's going to come into play at the end.
And I think she knows that too.
Maybe. Do you think that, that she's going to be like so submissive to him that he'll be like, oh, you know what? You know what? Have your fucking little life. Like, fine, I'll reverse your curse, like, you bitch.
No,
and then
I think
she'll go see Henry. I don't know.
Okay, but I know we're kind of skipping too. Well, I mean, we're almost there.
Yeah.
But because she says, you could have me as long as you want me. Knowing this whole, he likes his chase, she's be like, well, I'm not going to give him any more of myself like that. Like, there's no chase now. So I'm just going to keep, like
her wording.
Yeah. Is going to be.
Because it's all about the wording.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, I'm just going to make sure he ends up, like, look at the reality, like, oh, you just like the idea of me, now that you have me, you're going to get bored.
Yeah. So maybe he doesn't do anything about her curse, but maybe he's like, okay, fine, just go fucking live your life until you're ready for...
I think she's, like, inadvertently, like, he's not even going to realize, because the minute he's like, oh my god, this is, like, not even what I wanted, boom, he doesn't want her.
Yeah.
As long as you want me, so then in that moment, boom, she's free, she's gone, I don't know. But is it like, she dies? She goes on living forever?
Right.
Like, I don't know what that part looks like.
I don't know.
But she's definitely like, nah, I'm playing chess.
I totally, yeah. I think so.
Addie!
Okay, we marked the same spot here on this next chapter, which is New Orleans. Finally, July 29th, 1970. Fucking took forever to get here, but here we finally are.
Finally! I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And then what'd you say?
What's it, Addie?
Do not pretend that this is love.
Oh. Wait a minute. Isn't that that's the title of the chapter, the part. I like it when they do that. And again, we called it that. He was going to say that. Mm-hmm.
But like, and then it looks like, oh my god. Well, what is love then? Tell me. Tell me your heart doesn't flutter when you hear my voice. It doesn't ache when you hear your name on my lips. It's my own name I ache for, not your lips.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Once perhaps, but now it's more. She's afraid that he is right. And then he sets a box before her. Blah, blah, blah. And it's a gift and it's the key, whatever.
To the home.
To the home.
That we reference. I almost wanted it to be more than this, but it's fine.
I know.
But it makes sense that it wouldn't be more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm disappointed, but then I'm like, no, because this is right.
Yeah. Because it shouldn't be romanticized into being this whole big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is so good.
Yeah. The same with the jacket, where they're just walking along and she sees the leather jacket.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I like that. And he's like, I can get that for you. Boom, now you have it on you.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to buy it. It's just on you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That one I will say, like...
I thought that it was his jacket.
Yeah.
That he gave to her.
It would have felt better. I think I get the home in New Orleans, that whole situation. Mm-hmm. But the leather jacket, like, especially because, like, the ring is like, oh, summon me, da-da-da. That the jacket would be like, you know, she went, took his jacket and, you know, dipped out, you know?
But I think it makes sense because the reason she would keep the jacket was because it was hers. It wasn't his. If it was his, I think she would have thrown it away. Yes, it was a gift from him, but I don't think she would have kept it if it was his jacket.
But if it was his jacket, we can see why he would never leave her. Why she hadn't been able to lose it.
But she has the ring. And that's her connection to Luke that she can't even get rid of, but she wants to.
Yeah, I feel like it would be the same thing.
Oh. Yeah, but she wouldn't wear the jacket if it was his.
Yeah.
Like, she would see it on a chair and just, like, you know.
Whatever, yeah.
Right. So, I think it's significant that it is her jacket. And yes, there's a connection to Luke.
Because he's the one that gave it to her to make sure she kept it.
Right. But when we do see her, you know, fold the jacket, put it in the drawer of Henry's place, it's like, I think it's more significant because when it is her jacket, it's not even Luke's jacket, it's her jacket. But she's also leaving it.
Because, like, one, I have a possession to put away that won't leave. Also significant that, like, yes, it was Luke that allowed me to keep the jacket.
But I'm severing that a little bit.
So it's both, like, I'm putting my own thing in here, but also I'm making sure I'm putting it away because, like, no, Luke, I've moved on, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
V.E. Schwab.
She's so good.
Okay. What else do you have? What do you got?
I have at the very end a quote that I liked. And so, like, they're at the house, the yellow house, and so she's leaning on the iron rail when she hears him arrive. And it says, and when his arms drift around her shoulders, Addie remembers the way he held the woman in the doorway, the way he folded around her, swallowing her whole. Because right before this, she sees that Luke...
He takes another soul.
Yeah. Which, again, it's an old woman, and she's like, oh, thank God, I'm so tired. I'm ready.
And she's like, damn, I'm tired too.
Yeah.
I can't give up.
No. But, like, I think this is the first time that she sees someone willingly give the soul to Luke, which, again, I think is interesting in this moment. I feel like
she's even a little envious, too. Because she's like, I'm tired, too.
Yeah.
But there's a part where, like, but I can't do it, you know?
Why do you think that Addie still is not ready to go? At this point, do you think it's in spite of Luke?
It has to be in spite of Luke, and I think there's also, since we always go back to Estelle, like some connection there, like, I'm doing this for Estelle, and I cannot let her down, or, like, me and Estelle were supposed to have this life, or it's something with that, too.
Or, like, I made a mistake that she had warned me against, so I have to make this count?
Yeah, almost like I gotta make it up to her.
Yeah.
And be my own person. And a little bit of, like, a spite Luke is like, nah, he can't win. But it's more, I think, with Estelle or something.
Yeah, because, like, I know that, like, before when Luke has, like, asked this sort of question to her, she's like, well, there's always something else to learn. There's always... But, like...
Even in that moment, especially if you're depressed and you're feeling down, like, there's still more out there, but, like, why do I care to learn it, you know?
Exactly.
So I think it has to be because of Estelle. Like, something emotionally reminding her from her past, her person, you know?
Interesting.
But also I do like that... It's just a reminder, like, don't
get
fall into the romance of this, like, remember what he is, what he does, like, all of that.
And what he's going to do to you.
What he's going to do.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Oh, same thing.
Yep. Okay, so on to the next chapter, 13. Again, July 30th, 2014.
Oh, yeah.
And, so They are here together in New York, and she wonders what would have happened if he hadn't said the word, if he hadn't tipped his hand, if he hadn't ruined everything. And obviously we don't quite know what this means at this point.
Yeah. Though a little bit.
A little bit.
Because, like, when we actually get to that point, I was like, oh, she did literally say that to us.
Yeah.
Before. Like, wrapped up in the sheets, whispering surrender in her, or whatever.
But the context.
The context we really needed.
Yeah. So I just, like, was like, ooh, what is that, like, gonna be, though?
Because I feel like this whole time she's been battling, like, I'm tired of having these, you know, semi-connections where it's just really one-sided and da-da-da, and, like, finally, like, okay, I really could be with him. He knows me, da-da-da. Mm-hmm. And then she still has to keep reminding herself, this isn't actually real. Remind yourself of that. And then also, like, with the whole surrender, like, okay, that's really his game plan. So I think it's just a whole thing of, like, reality check, girl. Reality check.
Yeah. And so he takes her to this hidden bar that she's like, oh, I didn't even know it was here. Mm-hmm. And it's obviously his bar. Mm-hmm. And here is so crazy. Because, again, she's like, okay, I have to play this cool. Like, I have to, you know, let him go, Luke. Just let him go. And he's like, Addie, stop it. Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay, fine. Like, tell me what it is. And, yeah, so he's like, tell me, like, why, what do you see in him, latest, sorry. I can't read. Tell me, what do you see in him, this latest human lover? And, you know, of course she's like, all the good things about him, but she's like, okay, I have to play the game.
Yeah.
What do I see in him? I see myself. Not who I am now, perhaps, but who I was the night you came to rescue me. And I see her tactic here. Mm-hmm. She's like, no, like, he's like me, and you love me, apparently. Mm-hmm. So, like, see
the connection,
like, save him because he's like me.
Yeah.
So I see her little strategy here. Mm-hmm. And what's crazy is that he's like, okay, fine. So she says, and I'm begging you to let him go. You will not give me mine, so give me his instead. And he goes, choose someone. And she goes, what? He turns her to face the crowd. Choose a soul to take his place. Pick a stranger. Damn one of them instead. His voice is low and smooth and certain. There is always a cost, he says gently. A price must be paid. Henry Strauss bartered his own soul. Would you sell someone else's to have it back? And she points to someone random in the crowd. And he laughs. My Adeline, he says, kissing her hair. You have changed more than you think. That's crazy. So she's willing to sacrifice a complete stranger for Henry.
Yeah. Would you have done it?
For Brady? I don't know.
I know. Because I'm like, if I would do it, I would just pick the oldest person in the room.
Right, which
like,
she thought about that.
Probably, you know? But could I damn them like that?
Because it's not just death.
Yeah.
It's your soul being taken away, which we still don't 100% know what that means and how that's different.
Because, like, they say, like, oh, they die, but, like, so they have their soul, is that there's no consciousness? Like, what's the point in selling your soul if you're, like, I'm not going to remember.
Right.
I'm not going to be here, like, mental, I don't know, whole thing. But
I don't know.
Is that showing her detachment from humanity?
I think so, yes.
But also, humans would be like, boom, kill them for the person I love. You know, like, take them, not
We've seen that so many times, Damn, I don't know.
I don't know either.
But then, I was like, so at the end of this, it says, the roof drops away, and when it withdraws again an instant later, the world is silent and the city is gone, and she is alone in the woods. And at first I thought that, like, I was like, are we going back in time?
I know, I thought it too. I was like, wait a minute.
Are we going back to when she made the deal? But we find out later that it's just New York City, like, woods, whatever. But here we are again in New Orleans, 1984, May 1st. What happens, Bree? What happens?
this is how it ends.
Period.
She's talking to him. Mm-hmm. They're having a little lovey-dovey moment.
Cute.
You know? Do you love me? You know I do. Then let me go. I'm not holding you here. That isn't what I meant. Set me free. Well, I can't break the deal. But perhaps I could bend it. Perhaps I could change the terms. I can make it better. All you have to do is surrender.
No, because that's crazy. And she's like, fucking surrender? Surrender? After all of this time? But also, what does that mean? Like, what does it mean to surrender? Like, surrender your soul and you're trusting that he's going to change the rule?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
Plus, he always says, words are important, words are important. Surrender?
Yeah.
When you've been asking her over and over, surrender your soul, surrender, like, oh, we're taking it back to when supposedly we were just, enemies. Mm-hmm. I was just a person you made a deal with. So all of this has just been, what? To get me to surrender?
So question, because here, she's like, surrender, or no, he's like, what is it? He asks, feigning confusion. So at this point, do you think that all of this was a lie? That he was pretending to love her and like doing all this to get her to break? Like, because he knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
But
did he make a mistake? But then he's feigning confusion, so like he knows what he said.
Right. But then here, like, she was like, she calls him on it. She's like, I knew you were a monster. I saw it often enough, and yet somehow I thought after all this time, but of course it wasn't love, was it? It wasn't even kindness. It was just another game. There is an instant when she thinks she might be wrong, a fraction of a moment when Luke looks wounded and confused, and she wonders if he meant only what he said, if, but then it is over. The hurt falls from his face and it passes into shadow. The effect as smooth as a cloud across the sun. A grim smile plays across his lips.
And what a tiresome game it has been.
But like, maybe it's just like way too dynamic to say he only felt one thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think maybe he did have his version of love to her.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's still a god that wants his deal done.
Yeah. And I think, like, now he knows, like, oh, I'm about to lose it. But, like, whatever. Like, I can't let her show that, like, she really got me.
Right.
I don't think it's love, but he did have a fondness for her. And I think still, even if she hadn't said surrender, if she hadn't, blown up, whatever, it still would have been like, I'm enjoying myself, but like, I'm gonna just wait for the day till she surrenders. Like, it's always gonna be like that.
So do you think that all this time and him saying, I love you, blah, 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 and even in this moment, the way that he feels for her in this moment, do you think it's the same as what he is feeling in the 2014 present day? Like him saying, like, I still love you. Like, because then later he says, like, well, I didn't actually mean it. Like, I did love you. It wasn't a game. Do you think he actually has grown in his fondness in the time that they've been apart? Do you think he regrets trying to make her surrender? Or at the end of the day, he's like, well, I still want you to surrender, but like, I don't know. Like,
I don't know. But at the end of the day, a deal's a deal. He's gonna get what he wants, from what he's thinking. So I don't know.
I know, and that's what makes it so good.
Because this is a god we're talking about.
Yeah, this is not human.
So I don't think he loves her. That's fine. Okay. Here, I do think he's obviously had this fondness for her, and is mad that she's like kind of ruining it. Like, hurt because he was enjoying himself. Mm-hmm. Don't think it was love. I don't think he thinks it was love.
Okay.
Maybe his version, I don't know. Maybe his version of it So, like, to his understanding of love, he thinks he did, but it's also at the same time he knows, I'm gonna get your soul, like, you're still my possession. So I love you as my possession.
Do you think that Luke is jealous of humanity?
Absolutely.
Do you think that by being with Addie, it was him trying to almost be human, even though he keeps telling Addie, like, you're not human, you're like me, so that's why we can be together? Regardless of that, do you think that
I think it's kind of like an experiment.
Yeah.
You know? Because, like, before, you know, humans or whatever, soul, yeah, ooh, lovely art, soul, da da da. Seeing Addie, like, oh, seeing you so similar to me, but you're human, but then, like, you're not human, so I'm trying to see I'm interested in seeing, well, let me see what it's like to have that or whatever. Obviously in his twisted way, because it's very possessive and,
right,
you know, whatever. I could see that kind of like an experiment.
Okay. Huh. Okay.
Interesting.
And so we also know that, like, fire, she starts a fire.
Yeah.
And that's
And he lets it burn.
the reference, of her losing the home.
Yeah.
So now, again, back in 2014, July 30th, she's in the woods, but then, she realizes that it's still New York and it's Central Park.
Yeah.
So I think it's also interesting. His voice drifts through the dark. Adeline. Again, a reference to when she was in the woods and she heard the people calling her name and he was mocking them. He's really playing games.
Yep.
And here, so she talks about how, you know, he's dressed just like, you know, he was when she first summoned him, and he looks like the dream of hers. But it says, but one thing has changed. There is no triumph in his eyes. The color has gone out of them, so pale they're almost gray. And though she's never seen that shade before, she guesses it is sadness. And then he goes, I will give you what you want if you will do one thing. What? Luke holds out his hand. Dance with me. Like, this is where I'm like, do you think that, like, now it is closer to what love is? Like, has he kind of, I don't know, like, it's so beautiful.
I know.
But it's also so terrible. But it's, I get it. Like, the hype on this, I get it. Like, how sad, though. Like, you almost have to you have to have, like, empathy for Luke.
Is it sad that he's like, I kind of got her to love me in a way, but she actually loves Henry. So I'm sad that I don't have, like, that attention from her and that depth of, love or whatever from her.
And that she's willing to sacrifice a stranger. She's willing to sacrifice herself in a way.
Yeah.
For this boy.
When it was supposed to be, you just want to come back to me and give your soul to me. Like, ooh, she's going to hurt so bad. She wants to come back to me. But, like,
that's so sad.
Yeah, she hurts, but she fell in love. He's like, wait a minute, that's, you're supposed to have that for me.
That's so sad. And then, this is so sad. Like, they're dancing and then a tear slides down her cheek. All you had to do was set me free.
Pause on that.
What?
If he had set her free, would she have died?
Yeah, I think she would have continued to age like normal from that point.
Okay.
So
would she have been with him then?
With Luke?
Yeah.
No,
because all you had to do was all you had to do was set me free. Like, if you had loved me, I would have been with you if you had genuinely loved me and set me free. Yeah, is it that?
I think that she would have left him. I really do.
Yeah.
I think in a way it was a game for her too. Because if the curse was broken, then people would remember her. And he wouldn't be the only one who remembered her. And therefore, she wouldn't need him anymore. And I think he knew that. He's like, well, no, I can't undo your curse because then you won't need me anymore. And you won't love me because you even say that you don't love me. Because it's not what love is. The only reason you're with me is to hear my name or your name on my lips.
Yeah.
So that's why he's like, I could not. Because of the deal. Because you are mine. I was never yours, Luke. Not in the woods that night, and not when you took me to my bed. You were the one who said it was just a game. I lied. You loved me, and I loved you. And yet, you didn't come to find me until I found someone else. And this is the twist in the gut. Oh, Adeline, you think you found each other? The words are a missed step, a sudden drop. Do you truly think that I would let that happen? The ground tilts beneath her feet. That for all the deals I do, such a thing would ever pass beneath my notice? Addie squeezes her eyes shut and she is lying beside Henry, their fingers laced together in the grass. She's looking up at the night sky. She's laughing at the idea that Luke finally made a mistake. You must have thought yourselves so clever. Star-crossed lovers brought together by chance. What are the odds that you would meet, that you would both be bound to me, both have sold your souls for something that only the other could provide? When the truth is so much easier than that. I put Henry in your path. I gave him to you, wrapped and ribboned like a gift. We fucking called it. Yep. She's like, why would you do that? Because it is what you wanted. You were so set upon your need for love, you could not see beyond it. I gave you this. I gave you him, so you could see that love was not worth the space you held for it, the space you kept from me. But it was worth it. It is.
Okay, let me read this one more time. So you could see the love was not worth the space you held for it, the space you kept from me. So he knows
that what he feels is not love.
And that she never loved me. Like, you've been trying not to fall for me. So I'm trying to show you, like, that little thing that you won't let me have, your heart, the love. Look, see, I let you have it, not worth it.
Yeah, so I think he wants her to feel the same way that he feels, whether it's love or not.
Yeah, because, like, okay, here's love, but, like
love is fucked.
That's silly. Now you'll realize
that what we have
is more than that.
Is more than that and good enough.
Right there shows he doesn't know humans. He doesn't know humanity. Love is so powerful.
Damn. And
so
the fact
he
that,
fucked up on that.
Yeah, and the fact that she was like, but it was worth it. It is.
Yeah.
Oh, that must have hurt him so bad.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's like, this is cruel, Luke, even for you. And this is crazy. So, she's like, you never intended to let him live, did you? And he's like, a deal is a deal, Adeline, and deals are binding. That you would do all of this to torment me. And he says, no. I did it to show you, to make you understand. You put them on such a pedestal, but humans are brief and pale, and so is their love. It is shallow. It does not last. You long for human love, but you are not human, Adeline. You haven't been for centuries. You have no place with them. You belong with me. Again. He's saying, like, this is human love. Like, what I feel, I know it's not human love. But, like, this is better. This is, And again, the way that he says, you put them on such a pedestal. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with Adeline then?
Exactly.
You are putting her on a pedestal.
But also, he's saying, it's so pale and fleeting and it's brief and da-da-da. How long has she held that love for Estelle?
Yeah. For fucking 300 years.
No, it's not. I literally have Estelle for that. I literally have all the loves that I keep carrying with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Right there, that shows I am human. I love, love is enduring and it lasts and it is everlasting, whatever. You obviously, that shows you do not understand that.
Yeah.
And you think giving me the love of my life is like, see how brief that was, see how silly? This is that's it, yes.
Yeah. Because even later he says, does he mean so much to you? Then go. Spend time with your human love. Bury him and mourn him and plant a tree over his grave.
Right there, look, you're trying to stab me with that, but that's example of how much I love him or love Estelle, how long it's lasted. Same thing with him. You got it, baby. You're not seeing it.
Yeah. And then she finds out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he stole a week from her. Right? It was a week?
Yeah, August 6th, where she sees the date stamped in the upper corner, August 6th. She left the apartment on the 30th of July. Spend time with your love, he said.
And then, of course, she's like running to get to Henry. He opens the door. He thought that she wasn't going to come back. Mm-hmm. And yeah, she's like, I'm so sorry. Like, he's like, just promise to stay.
Why did he only take a week? Why didn't he be like the day up?
I know. I don't know. Do you think because...
So she would hurt more?
Yeah, like he still thinks that his idea of it is correct, that, you know, she'll be hurt so much in this amount of time that she'll learn, she'll come to understand. But right now, she's so stuck in her ways that I do have to draw it out.
Yeah, like, but I'm gonna still take time.
Yeah, I'm gonna hurt you.
See that? But also, now you're gonna have still time to mourn and to feel that.
Yeah. And then maybe you'll come to your senses.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah.
Luke.
And so now it's just kind of like vague August 2014. We're just not even counting
his last days.
Yeah. And so
it's more so Henry coming to terms that, like, these are my last days. I'm saying my goodbyes, but not really, more like, I'll see you later, but I can't tell anybody. And come to terms with his death that's coming.
Yeah. And I really like this part that he asks Addie if you know, if you could do it over again, would you still make the deal? And she says yes. And here it says, it has been a hard and lonely life, she says, and a wonderful one too. She has lived through wars and fought in them, witnessed revolution and rebirth. She's left her mark on 1,000 works of art, like a thumbprint in the bottom of a drying bowl. She has seen marvels and gone mad, has danced in snowbanks and frozen to death along the Seine. She fell in love with the darkness many times, fell in love with the human once, and she's tired, unspeakably tired. But there's no question she has lived. Nothing is all good or all bad. Life is so much messier than that.
Okay, but she fell in love with darkness many times.
Yeah, I think that's just like every time he came into her life, it was like another like spark of something.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, and I think it's sweet. Like he goes and, you know, he goes sees Robbie in the play.
And I like this, that, like, you know, he's promised he's not gonna, he says, like, see you later, I'll for sure do that, And this, he decides, is what a goodbye should be. Not a period, but an ellipsis. A statement trailing off until someone is there to pick it up. It is a door left open, it is drifting off to sleep. And he tells himself he is not afraid, tells himself it is okay. He is okay.
Yeah, this is where, like, I do really think that it's very beautiful, and I can see why people would be, like, crying while reading this.
Yeah.
I didn't get there.
I felt the sadness there.
I definitely felt the sadness.
But yeah, I don't think I was crying.
But I'm pretty sure, because I know I've seen a lot of people say, like, oh my God, like, I'm bawling.
Yeah.
And I can see where, I think that's where it would be. Like, in these moments of, like, you know, the soft, tender goodbye that he's
the waiting for the inevitable, and it's right there. Yeah.
But I didn't quite get to that point.
No. But I feel like if I had read it straight through, that it would have maybe not got me, just because I didn't have that connection with Henry, but still, like, just the feeling of having to say goodbye, you know?
In the next chapter, now we're at September 4th. And this is the day.
This is the day.
So, like, they're just trying to make it feel normal. But I really like this here, that, you know, she's telling him stories still. And it says, this is the last gift she can give him. These moments he will never have. And this is the last gift he can give her. Listening. And I think that sums them up really well.
It does.
And I really like that.
I can definitely see the tears for this one.
Totally.
Because in the next thing, there's no date. Obviously, it's continued. It is almost time, and they are on the roof.
Which again, I'm still stuck on that roof thing.
I'm
still stuck on it.
It has to be Luke did his little thing. And he was drunk and it was hazy and depressed. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, and again, like, the internal thoughts, like, I think are just so spot on, where he's like, you know, he, like, what'll happen with everybody else? Like, are they going to find me, you know, dead on the roof? Like, what's going to, like, do they think that I jumped? Like, what's going to happen? And he's like, he does not know. He does not need to know. He is ready. He is not ready. And it's like that back and forth, I think, is so realistic.
Especially when you know this is the day I die.
Yeah.
You know, they both at the end have the same feeling.
Yeah.
This is the day I die. I've come to terms with it, but I haven't, but I'm scared, but I'm, you know, just that back and forth with it, and like, oh.
Yeah, the feelings in
the
this.
torture in that.
It's really beautifully written.
Yeah.
And like Addie saying, like, you know, I'm here. Like, all of it is so beautiful. And I do think that if I read it all the way through, maybe I'll do a reread.
Yeah.
I could see myself, like, tearing up and, like, yeah.
No, same.
And then Addie.
Then Henry, I haven't told you how it ends.
What the fuck do you mean?
No, I was like, what the hell do you mean, Addie? What do you mean, Addie?
Yep.
3 nights until the end on September 1st. Let's go back 3 days.
Back in time. Yep. And Addie's like, nope, this is not the end. I'm still going to do something about this. Henry's not going to die.
Some decisions happen all at once, and others build up over time. Hold on. Because I was like, first of all, what do you mean? Trade your life? Why would he agree to that? So then we carry on. You know, perhaps it was when they first met, and the night he wrote her name and said the words, "I remember you." But then, when we were in Henry's chapter, he's like, oh, I see her get up in the middle of the night.
Right.
I go back to sleep, da-da-da. So during then, she goes to see Luke.
Yep, she puts the ring on.
Mm-hmm.
At a bar, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And, yep, he's there. And it's just, like, so crazy to me.
Because he's like, you know, how's your love? How was it? Was everything you wanted? Da-da-da.
No.
But Henry doesn't deserve to die to prove your point. A deal's a deal. It can't be broken. And yet, you told me once that a deal could be bent, the terms rewritten. Did you mean that, or was it just part of the ploy to get me to surrender? There was no ploy, Adeline, but if you think it, I'll change the terms of his. I'm not talking about Henry's deal. I'm talking about mine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not asking for your mercy, and I know you have no charity, so I'm offering a trade. Let Henry go, let him live, let him remember me. I think she was like, I need to make sure I'm close, like, good with these words.
Yep.
Let him remember me. You would surrender your soul? No, but only because you do not want it. You want me. You were right. I'm not one of them, not anymore. And I'm tired of losing, tired of mourning everything I tried to love. But I won't lose you, and you won't lose me. So, yes, do this, and I will be yours as long as you want me by your side.
She really did Uno reverse here.
Yep.
Because she says, you know, in her deal, or he's like, okay, so you can live for as long as you want to, but then you can have your soul. Like, I will have my soul for as long as I want it, and then it's yours. So she's like, I will be yours
for as long as you
want me.
And then he smiles, thinking he has his victory. I got her. I accept.
Not
Addie girl.
She's had 300 years to think and get to know Luke, and yep. But what does that mean, though?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't want my soul. I'm not giving you my soul. I'm giving you me.
For as long as you want me.
As long as you want. So, does that mean I'm still me right now? Like, I'm going to just live this way for as long, whatever. But I'm just going to always be around you, with you?
Does that mean, though, that she is going to have her soul? That now, like, is her deal broken in a sense where now if she dies or whatever, he doesn't get her soul?
Yeah. So I think, okay, she's going to live, like, you know, living her life. She's, you know, not going to age, live, whatever. She'll be Luke's. Mm-hmm. So either she won't be with anybody else. It'll just be for Luke and like whatever.
nothing will really change.
Yeah, nothing really changes. But she's just not going to have other connections, I'm saying. Okay? But once he's bored and like doesn't want her, and it's like, all right, I'm done. I think then she dies, but she keeps her soul. And like, yeah.
Oh, I hope so. We'll find out next week. But before then, we still have a little bit. Because now she's told him what happened. Yeah. It's September 4th. And he's like, no, what the fuck did you do?
Like, no, you can't do this. It's already done.
Yeah. And this is really interesting. So he's like, why would you do this? Think of it as a thank you for seeing me, for showing me what it's like to be seen, to be loved. Now you get a second chance, but you have to let them see you as you are. You have to find people who see you. And then he's like, you don't love him. A sad smile crosses her face. I've had my share of love, she says, and it must be time, because his vision is blurring, the edges going black. Listen to me. Her voice is urgent now. Life can feel very long sometimes, but in the end, it goes so fast. Her eyes are glassy with tears, but she's smiling. You better live a good life, Henry Strauss. You've given me so much, Henry, but I need you to do one more thing. I need you to remember. Promise me. Her face is beginning to smudge. The swipe of her lips, brown curls in a heart-shaped face, 2 wide eyes, 7 freckles like stars. Promise, she whispers. And she is gone, and he is falling. Your girl gonna cry preemptively.
That is so...
But okay, correct me if I'm wrong. When she spends the night with Henry for the first time, doesn't she say, remember me, like promise?
Mm-hmm. Because he's like falling asleep.
Right.
He's like, oh yeah, I think she just says promise, but in her head she's like, to remember me.
Yeah. That's so sad. I literally this is the end of part 6.
Yeah.
And we know that part 7 is so short.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, what a way to end this part. And
because are we going to see Addie?
I think we're going to see Henry.
Yeah.
It has to be the aftermath of Henry now living his life to the fullest. I think you were right when you were saying oh, it's going to be him sharing her story.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll publish a book because he works in a bookstore.
That he writes her book and publishes it.
But here's what I'm really worried about. Because she's like, you need to remember me, right? And she did put that in the deal.
Yeah.
But I'm so curious. So he's going to remember Addie. But do you think that if he saw her again, he wouldn't know that it was her? So that maybe Addie's going to come into the bookstore and he's going to see her, but he's not going to realize that it's Addie.
Because you remember me, but you don't recognize me.
Yeah. Do you think that's what's going to happen? That might make me cry.
That's what's going to happen.
Because it's interesting, because it says her face is beginning to smudge. So you might not remember what she looks like, but you remember her.
And then cameras smudge the pictures of her.
Yeah. And Luke, he's going to twist everything to get his way.
He's going to write a book. He's going to be at his little bookshop that he works. She's going to look at it and is like, wow, my story written down is real. Maybe she'll even go. Do you think she'll go and talk to him?
I think she will.
I think he starts telling her about this is about the love of my life. This is about, I don't know, and he tells her all the stuff that he is telling me my story, remembering me, but it's just not realizing it's me because I didn't say recognize, I said remember.
That's what I think is gonna happen. I swear.
And then, no, it has to end with her being because remember I was like, nah, because she was like, she's the worth as long as you want me. Do we see the inklings of her plan gonna start? I don't make Luke not want me.
I don't know. Or maybe that's already happened, but we don't see it. And now she's growing older And maybe that's why he doesn't recognize her or something. Or maybe he will recognize her after a little bit. He'll be like, wait, the 7 freckles or something. I don't know. Like, do you think that she'll be an old lady? Do you think she'll be like Estelle?
Oh.
Like, he's like, okay, well, fine. I don't want you anymore. I'll make you old. I don't know.
No, I think once he doesn't want her anymore, she'll die.
Right. So, do you think we're done with Addie? Do you think we're not going to see that? Because I could totally see there being loose ends in this. By the end, I could see there being, like, not 100% fulfillment.
Yeah.
But I think that's the point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or it's going to be like a, just Henry's POV.
Right.
He's written her book, publishing it, people are coming up, I don't know, maybe it's something like that in the bookstore, or he's signing, or, I don't know, something, telling people the book. Then this woman comes up. He's like, oh, she has 7 freckles. Just like her. That's crazy. Telling her about the book, da-da-da. And then she just walks out, and he's like, something about her reminds me of her. Like, something like that.
Okay, question 2. Do you think that Henry... So, obviously, if we think he's going to publish this book, whatever, do you think that he's going to reference all of the art that she's inspired to, be like, yeah, this was her? And do you think that people are going to think this is fiction because of these references to art? And they're like, oh, he's reaching. Or
no person could be alive for 300 years.
Like, do you think that's going to come into play here? Because why else are we seeing all these, things? And this whole idea of her leaving a mark.
Yes.
And it's like proving to Luke, like, fuck you, Luke.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm writing a book because, you put this into play.
But then he says, remember to her, like, I'm not invisible, Addie. He calls her invisible.
Right.
Do you think the name of the book is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue?
I bet it is. Yeah.
And then we see the pictures, like, we're literally seeing the book.
Yeah. Like, this is the book
This is the book, basically.
Yes. Yeah. Like, this is the book that Henry wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure people would think it's fiction in this real life because no one makes a deal for,
There's no devils and gods make deals and...
Yeah. Shit. But do you think we'll see Addie? Because I don't know.
I feel like we'll see her, like, Henry seeing her, but it's like,
Like, was that real?
We know it's Addie, but he doesn't know it's Addie,
Literally, when we're done with this, I'm reading this.
Yeah, me too. The minute the cameras turn off.
Yeah, the minute it turns off. Fuck. Okay, I will say.
Okay.
When I read part 6, I was a little disappointed.
I didn't know how to feel.
I didn't know how to feel. I was like, the sadness of Henry's chapters was really beautiful. And like, okay, we did get the fulfillment of seeing what happened in New Orleans. And I was a little disappointed in that. And blah, blah, blah. And like, okay, I'm kind of like, oh, Addie, of course she made a deal with Luke. And like, okay, Henry's gonna live. But I'm gonna say after this.
Yeah, same.
And actually thinking it through and letting it like, marinate in my brain.
Because that was a bittersweet ending.
I feel so different.
Yeah, I feel so much better about it. Yeah.
I needed this.
At first I was like, I feel cheated that we didn't see Henry die. Because I feel like that's such an important thing. Like, oh, that's her last love. That's the 7th one. I don't know, whatever. Like, that's meant to happen for her. And then maybe she's like, now I'm going to get Luke before I go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in the way she's doing that.
It's good. It's actually really good.
It's really good.
Also, do we think we're going to get fulfillment about the 7 freckles thing? Or do we think that it's just like, it was her mark? Like, the 7 freckles, that's why...
It was just her mark, I think.
Ooh, she's not happy about that.
I don't like that. You know what I mean? I like everything to have a little...
I know.
But there's 7 parts, 7 pieces of art, even though one was Henry, but also, that's also her thing.
They're connected.
So, I think it's more symbolism for the book.
Okay.
That's what 7 book is.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to read the last part.
This is really good.
I wasn't sold for a second, but now I'm back on it. I'm back
glad
on the train.
We had the book club discussion because, like, now I'm with it.
Yeah, now I'm with it. And I have no idea how next week's gonna go with our book club because, like we said, this is the shortest part. It's like like 3. I don't know how many
2
chapters.
to 3 chapters, I think.
Like, I have no idea. I don't know. But we'll talk about whatever's in this, and then we'll do a total overall
overview of everything.
I don't even know.
And to get your rating.
And our rating.
Shit.
I'm just like, I need to stare at a wall for a good
This book is
hour.
really good.
I get it.
I really get it.
It's worth the hype.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Unless the last part really
the
does
fuck off.
something bad. I mean, you never know.
You never know.
But I doubt it.
Miss V.E. Schwab.
Yeah. I mean, like we talked about last week, I literally this was the only book that I'm currently reading.
Yeah.
Haven't read any of her other ones, but I'm buying them. Every time I see them, I'm buying it.
Yep.
At the thrift store, yeah.
No, she is good.
She's so brilliant at writing. You got me, girl. You got me.
Right now, once we end this, go read the last few chapters.
Go read part 7. And then come
Write down thoughts. Don't forget, because we're going to have to discuss next week.
Next week, Friday. Whew. Yep. Join us anywhere that you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple, the weird ones, iHeartRadio, I don't know. Watch on YouTube. You can see our facials and reactions because I'm telling you, I'm staring at a wall right now. And follow us at the.tbr.podcast everywhere. Follow the calendar. You guys know the deal.
Plus, soon you'll see next month.
Next month, we'll be announcing
the new book club book.
Yeah.
Pick.
But not yet. No
what you need to do, go follow, notification, don't miss anything. Read the next part. And write down those last thoughts.
Yep. All right, well, we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. I'll pick this up to read.